190.
190.
عقيل أرسلت لك المعلومات.
بارك الله فيكم شيخنا.
Okay, we're live.
اوكي يلا بسم الله. تفضل يا زكريا.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. فلما آتاهما صالحا جعلا له شركاء فيما آتاهما فتعالى الله عما يشركون.
I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. But when he gave them, the polytheist and his wife, a good child in every aspect, they, the polytheist and his wife, ascribed partners to Allah in that which he had given to them. High is Allah, exalted above all they ascribe as partners to him.
أيشركون ما لا يخلق شيئا وهم يخلقون.
Do they attribute as partners to Allah those who created nothing, but they themselves are created?
ولا يستطيعون لهم نصرا ولا أنفسهم ينصرون.
No help can they give them, nor can they help themselves.
وإن تدعوهم إلى الهدى لا يتبعوكم سواء عليكم أدعوتموهم أم أنتم صامتون.
And if you call them to guidance, they follow you not. It is the same for you whether you call them or you keep silent.
إن الذين تدعون من دون الله عباد أمثالكم فادعوهم فليستجيبوا لكم إن كنتم صادقين.
Verily, those whom you call upon besides Allah are slaves like you. So call upon them and let them answer you if you are truthful.
ألهم أرجل يمشون بها أم لهم أيد يبطشون بها أم لهم أعين يبصرون بها أم لهم آذان يسمعون بها قل ادعوا شركاءكم ثم كيدون فلا تنظرون.
Have they feet whereby they walk? Or have they hands whereby they hold? Or have they eyes whereby they see? Or have they ears wherewith they hear? Say, O Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, call your so-called partners of Allah, and then plot against me, and give me no respite.
إن وليي الله الذي نزل الكتاب وهو يتولى الصالحين.
Verily, my protector and supporter is Allah, who has revealed the book, the Qur'an, and he protects and helps the righteous.
والذين تدعون من دونه لا يستطيعون نصركم ولا أنفسهم ينصرون.
And those whom you call upon besides Allah cannot help you, nor can they help themselves.
وإن تدعوهم إلى الهدى لا يسمعوا وتراهم ينظرون إليك وهم لا يبصرون.
And if you call them to guidance, they hear not, and you will see them looking at you, yet they see not.
خذ العفو وأمر بالعرف وأعرض عن الجاهلين.
Show forgiveness, enjoin what is good, and turn away from the foolish.
وإما ينزغنك من الشيطان نزغ فاستعذ بالله إنه سميع عليم.
And if an evil whisper comes to you from Satan, then seek refuge with Allah. Verily, He is all hearer, all knower.
إن الذين اتقوا إذا مسهم طائف من الشيطان تذكروا فإذا هم مبصرون.
Verily, those who are the pious, when an evil thought comes to them from Satan, they remember Allah, and indeed they then see right.
وإخوانهم يمدونهم في الغي ثم لا يقصرون.
But as for their brothers, the devils, they plunge them deeper into error, and they never stop short.
وإذا لم تأتهم بآية قالوا لولا اجتبيتها قل إنما أتبع ما يوحى إلي من ربي هذا بصائر من ربكم وهدى ورحمة لقوم يؤمنون.
And if you do not bring them a miracle, they say, why have you not brought it? Say, I but follow what is revealed to me from my Lord. This Qur'an is nothing but evidences from your Lord, and a guidance and a mercy for a people who believe.
وإذا قرئ القرآن فاستمعوا له وأنصتوا لعلكم ترحمون.
So when the Qur'an is recited, listen to it and be silent that you may receive mercy.
واذكر ربك في نفسك تضرعا وخيفة ودون الجهر من القول بالغدو والآصال ولا تكن من الغافلين.
And remember your Lord within yourself, humbly and with fear, and without loudness in words in the mornings and in the afternoons, and be not of those who are neglectful.
إن الذين عند ربك لا يستكبرون عن عبادته ويسبحونه وله يسجدون.
Surely those who are with your Lord are never too proud to perform acts of worship to him, but they glorify his praise and prostrate themselves before him.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يسألونك عن الأنفال قل الأنفال لله والرسول فاتقوا الله وأصلحوا ذات بينكم وأطيعوا الله ورسوله إن كنتم مؤمنين.
This is Surah number 8, the spoils of war. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. They ask you, O Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, about the spoils of war. Say, the spoils are for Allah and the Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. So fear Allah and adjust all matters of difference among you, and obey Allah and his Messenger, if you are believers.
إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم وإذا تليت عليهم آياته زادتهم إيمانا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون.
The believers are only those who, when Allah is mentioned, feel a fear in their hearts, and when his verses, this Qur'an, are recited to them, the verses, increase their faith, and they put their trust in their Lord alone.
الذين يقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون.
Those who perform the prayer and spend out of what we have provided them.
أولئك هم المؤمنون حقا لهم درجات عند ربهم ومغفرة ورزق كريم.
It is they who are the believers in truth. For them are grades of dignity with their Lord, and forgiveness, and a generous provision.
كما أخرجك ربك من بيتك بالحق وإن فريقا من المؤمنين لكارهون.
As your Lord caused you, O Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, to go out from your home with the truth, and verily, a party among the believers disliked it.
يجادلونك في الحق بعدما تبين كأنما يساقون إلى الموت وهم ينظرون.
Disputing with you concerning the truth after it was made manifest, as if they were being driven to death while they were looking at it.
وإذ يعدكم الله إحدى الطائفتين أنها لكم وتودون أن غير ذات الشوكة تكون لكم ويريد الله أن يحق الحق بكلماته ويقطع دابر الكافرين.
And remember when Allah promised you Muslims, one of the two parties, the enemy, one unarmed should be yours, but Allah willed to justify the truth by his words and to cut off the roots of the disbelievers.
ليحق الحق ويبطل الباطل ولو كره المجرمون.
That he might cause the truth to triumph and bring falsehood to nothing, even though the disbelievers, criminals and polytheists hate it.
إذ تستغيثون ربكم فاستجاب لكم أني ممدكم بألف من الملائكة مردفين.
Remember when you sought help of your Lord and he answered you saying, I will help you with 1,000 of the angels, each behind the other in succession.
وما جعله الله إلا بشرى ولتطمئن به قلوبكم وما النصر إلا من عند الله إن الله عزيز حكيم.
Allah made it only as glad tidings, and that your hearts be at rest therewith. And there is no victory except from Allah. Verily Allah is almighty, all wise.
إذ يغشيكم النعاس أمنة منه وينزل عليكم من السماء ماء ليطهركم به ويذهب عنكم رجز الشيطان وليربط على قلوبكم ويثبت به الأقدام.
Remember when he covered you with a slumber as a security from him, and he caused water to descend on you from the sky, to clean you thereby, and to remove from you the whispering of Satan, and to strengthen your hearts and make your feet firm thereby.
إذ يوحي ربك إلى الملائكة أني معكم فثبتوا الذين آمنوا سألقي في قلوب الذين كفروا الرعب فاضربوا فوق الأعناق واضربوا منهم كل بنان.
Remember when your Lord revealed to the angels, verily I am with you. So keep firm those who have believed. I will cast terror into the hearts of those who have disbelieved. So strike them over the necks and smite all over their fingers and toes.
ذلك بأنهم شاقوا الله ورسوله ومن يشاقق الله ورسوله فإن الله شديد العقاب.
This is because they defied and disobeyed Allah and His Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. And whosoever defies and disobeys Allah and His Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, then verily Allah is severe in punishment.
ذلكم فذوقوه وأن للكافرين عذاب النار.
This is the torment, so taste it. And surely for the disbelievers is the torment of the fire.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا لقيتم الذين كفروا زحفا فلا تولوهم الأدبار.
O you who believe, when you meet those who disbelieve in a battlefield, never turn your backs to them.
ومن يولهم يومئذ دبره إلا متحرفا لقتال أو متحيزا إلى فئة فقد باء بغضب من الله ومأواه جهنم وبئس المصير.
And whoever turns their back to him on such a day, unless it be a stratagem of war, or to retreat to a troop of his own, he indeed has drawn upon himself wrath from Allah, and his abode is hell, and worst indeed is that destination.
فلم تقتلوهم ولكن الله قتلهم وما رميت إذ رميت ولكن الله رمى وليبلي المؤمنين منه بلاء حسنا إن الله سميع عليم.
You killed them not, but Allah killed them. And you, Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, threw not when you did throw, but Allah threw, that he might test the believers by a fair trial from him. Verily Allah is all hearer, all knower.
ذلكم وأن الله موهن كيد الكافرين.
This is the fact, and surely Allah weakens the deceitful plots of the disbelievers.
إن تستفتحوا فقد جاءكم الفتح وإن تنتهوا فهو خير لكم وإن تعودوا نعد ولن تغني عنكم فئتكم شيئا ولو كثرت وأن الله مع المؤمنين.
O disbelievers, if you ask for a judgment, now has the judgment come to you. And if you cease to do wrong, it will be better for you. And if you return to the attack, so shall we return. And your forces will be of no avail to you, however numerous they be. And verily, Allah is with the believers.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله ورسوله ولا تولوا عنه وأنتم تسمعون.
O you who believe, obey Allah and His Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and turn not away from him while you are hearing.
ولا تكونوا كالذين قالوا سمعنا وهم لا يسمعون.
And be not like those who say, we have heard, but they hear not.
إن شر الدواب عند الله الصم البكم الذين لا يعقلون.
Verily, the worst of moving living creatures with Allah are the deaf and the dumb who understand not.
ولو علم الله فيهم خيرا لأسمعهم ولو أسمعهم لتولوا وهم معرضون.
Had Allah known in them any good, He indeed would have made them listen. And even if He had made them listen, they would have but turned away with aversion to the truth.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا استجيبوا لله وللرسول إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم واعلموا أن الله يحول بين المرء وقلبه وأنه إليه تحشرون.
O you who believe, answer Allah by obeying Him and His Messenger when He, peace and blessings be upon Him, calls you. When He calls you to that which will give you life. And know that Allah comes in between a person and their heart. And verily to Him you shall all be gathered.
واتقوا فتنة لا تصيبن الذين ظلموا منكم خاصة واعلموا أن الله شديد العقاب.
And fear the affliction and trial which affects not in particular only those of you who do wrong, and know that Allah is severe in punishment.
واذكروا إذ أنتم قليل مستضعفون في الأرض تخافون أن يتخطفكم الناس فآواكم وأيدكم بنصره ورزقكم من الطيبات لعلكم تشكرون.
And remember when you were few and were reckoned weak in the land, and were afraid that men might kidnap you. But He provided a safe place for you, strengthened you with His help, and provided you with good things, so that you might be grateful.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تخونوا الله والرسول وتخونوا أماناتكم وأنتم تعلمون.
O you who believe, betray not Allah and His Messenger, nor betray knowingly those things entrusted to you and the duties which Allah has ordained for you.
واعلموا أنما أموالكم وأولادكم فتنة وأن الله عنده أجر عظيم.
And know that your possessions and your children are but a trial, and that surely with Allah is a mighty reward.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن تتقوا الله يجعل لكم فرقانا ويكفر عنكم سيئاتكم ويغفر لكم والله ذو الفضل العظيم.
O you who believe, if you obey and fear Allah, He will grant you a criterion to judge between right and wrong, and will expiate for you your sins and forgive you. And Allah is the owner of the great bounty.
وإذ يمكر بك الذين كفروا ليثبتوك أو يقتلوك أو يخرجوك ويمكرون ويمكر الله والله خير الماكرين.
And remember when the disbelievers plotted against you, O Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, to imprison you, or to kill you, or to get you out from your home. They were plotting, and Allah too was plotting. And Allah is the best of those who plot.
وإذا تتلى عليهم آياتنا قالوا قد سمعنا لو نشاء لقلنا مثل هذا إن هذا إلا أساطير الأولين.
And when our verses of the Qur'an are recited to them, they say, we have heard the Qur'an. If we wish, we can say the like of this. This is nothing but the tales of the ancients.
وإذ قالوا اللهم إن كان هذا هو الحق من عندك فأمطر علينا حجارة من السماء أو ائتنا بعذاب أليم.
And remember when they said, "O Allah, if this, the Qur'an, is indeed the truth revealed from you, then rain down stones on us from the sky or bring on us a painful torment."
وما كان الله ليعذبهم وأنت فيهم وما كان الله معذبهم وهم يستغفرون.
And Allah would not punish them while you, Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, are amongst them, nor will he punish them while they seek Allah's forgiveness.
وما لهم ألا يعذبهم الله وهم يصدون عن المسجد الحرام وما كانوا أولياءه إن أولياؤه إلا المتقون ولكن أكثرهم لا يعلمون.
And why should not Allah punish them while they hinder men from the Masjid al-Haram, the sacred mosque in Mecca, and they are not its guardians? None can be its guardians except the pious, but most of them know not.
وما كان صلاتهم عند البيت إلا مكاء وتصدية فذوقوا العذاب بما كنتم تكفرون.
Their prayer at the house of Allah, i.e. the Kaaba at Mecca, was nothing but whistling and clapping of hands. Therefore taste the punishment because you used to disbelieve.
جزاكم الله خير.
الله يبارك فيكم شيخ زكريا.
آمين وإياك. الله
قراءة ممتازة وما شاء الله حفظكم الله.
الله يتقبل.
جزاك الله خير
شيخ دخل.
جزاك الله خير. Okay, and Sheikh Muhammad Malik over here. Okay, well, what we can do, inshallah, is while I was going to say waiting for the Sheikh to come in, we could have continued, but it seems like Zachariah's left, or is he still there?
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
زكريا still there? أي زكريا موجود. Let me just see. I told him to get in. I told the Sheikh to come in a few minutes earlier, but I don't know. زكريا ممكن تستمر حتى أشوف مع الشيخ. زكريا.
هلا شيخ.
أقول تستمر بس أبين أشوف مع الشيخ إيش الموضوع.
طيب أبشر.
الله يحفظك ويبارك فيك. Okay, زكريا will continue إن شاء الله.
جزاكم الله خير.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن الذين كفروا ينفقون أموالهم ليصدوا عن سبيل الله فسينفقونها ثم تكون عليهم حسرة ثم يغلبون والذين كفروا إلى جهنم يحشرون.
I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. Verily those who disbelieve spend their wealth to hinder men from the path of Allah, and so will they continue to spend it. But in the end, it will become an anguish for them. then they will be overcome, and those who disbelieve will be gathered to hell.
ليميز الله الخبيث من الطيب ويجعل الخبيث بعضه على بعض فيركمه جميعا فيجعله في جهنم أولئك هم الخاسرون.
In order that Allah may distinguish the wicked from the good, and put the wicked one over another, heap them together and cast them into hell. It is they who are the losers.
قل للذين كفروا إن ينتهوا يغفر لهم ما قد سلف وإن يعودوا فقد مضت سنة الأولين.
Say to those who have disbelieved, if they cease from disbelief, their past will be forgiven. But if they return thereto, then the examples of those punished before them have already proceeded as a warning.
وقاتلوهم حتى لا تكون فتنة ويكون الدين كله لله فإن انتهوا فإن الله بما يعملون بصير.
And fight them until there is no more disbelief and polytheism, and the religion will all be for Allah alone. But if they cease worshipping others besides Allah, then certainly Allah is all-seer of what they do.
وإن تولوا فاعلموا أن الله مولاكم نعم المولى ونعم النصير.
And if they turn away, then know that Allah is your patron and protector. What an excellent patron and protector, and an excellent helper.
جزاكم الله.
حفظكم الله شيخ زكريا.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
عليكم
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته شيخنا.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. حيا الله فضيلة الشيخ الدكتور عبد الرحمن.
الله يحييك ويسلمك.
يا مرحبا يا مرحبا. طيب حتى ما ناخذ من وقتكم تفضل الله يحفظكم جزاكم الله خير.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن نبينا محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم. أيها الإخوة في الله، حديثنا اليوم عن الصيام والإيمان. الصيام هو الإمساك عن المفطرات تعبدا لله تعالى من طلوع الفجر إلى غروب الشمس. وصوم رمضان هو أحد أركان الإسلام الخمسة، ومن جحد وجوبه كفر إلا أن يكون ممن يمكن جهله الوجوب. ومن ترك صيام رمضان تهاونا فهو على خطر عظيم. وصوم رمضان فرض في السنة الثانية من الهجرة، فصام رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم 9 رمضانات. وكان صوم رمضان في أول ما فرض على التخيير، يعني أن يخير الناس بين الصيام والإطعام عن كل يوم مسكينا مع ترجيح الصوم. ولهذا قال ربنا جل وعلا: وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له وأن تصوموا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون.
شيخنا الله يحفظكم، بس لو تعطوهم وقت قليل حتى يترجم للمترجمين الإشارة.
طيب
عقيل تفضل.
نعم. بارك الله فيكم شيخنا. In the name of Allah, the gracious, the beneficent, indeed all praises are due to Allah. We praise Him, we seek His assistance, and we seek His forgiveness. We seek refuge with Allah from the evils of ourselves and the wickedness of our actions. Whosoever Allah guides, there are none who can misguide. And whomsoever Allah misguides, there are none who can guide. And I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship in truth except for Allah. And I bear witness that Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is his slave and his messenger. To proceed, then, on this night, the topic of tonight's lecture is fasting and faith. And fasting, the definition of fasting is to withhold from those things that invalidate or break the fast. And it's a withholding that's done with the intention of seeking nearness to Allah the Most High from the period of the true Fajr, the true dawn, or the true Fajr, until the setting of the sun. And this great act of worship is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. And it's of such importance, or it's the fact that it's obligatory is known so widespread that whosoever disbelieves in the fact that it is obligatory have committed disbelief. Yes, and whosoever leaves it out of laziness, then they are upon a very great and very, very grave danger. And as relates to the fasting, fasting was prescribed and made obligatory upon the Muslims in the 2nd year after the migration of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, from Mecca to Medina. So the 2nd year in the Islamic calendar. And ultimately, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, when he passed away, he had fasted a total of 9 Ramadans. So there were 9 Ramadans that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, fasted. And the way in which fasting was legislated, it was legislated piecemeal, bit by bit. And at the beginning of the matter, it was such that the Muslims, they could choose whether to fast the day of Ramadan, or whether they would either fast or they would feed a poor person. And it was actually preferable at that point to fast, but it was allowed for them and permissible for them to feed a poor person instead of fasting. And Allah the Most High said, and from those who are able to, they can pay to feed a poor person, and whosoever does extra, then it is good for them. However, that you fast is better for you. So that you fast is better for you if you do but know. نعم شيخنا.
هذا التشريع من الرب جل وعلا، وهو أنه في أول الأمر جعل صوم رمضان على التخيير. هذا لحكمة عظيمة، لأن الله شرع لعباده ما يشق على النفوس، فمهد لهم تمهيدا بما يهيئ النفوس لقبوله ويهونه عليها، فجعل هذا التخيير. لأن النفس إذا قيل لها امتنعي عن الأكل والشرب والشهوة وقد اعتادت عليه طيلة السنة، قد يكون هذا أمر شاق وصعب عليها. فلأجل هذا ربنا جل جلاله هيئ النفوس وجعل الأمر في أوله على التخيير حتى تتهيأ النفس وتقبل الصيام. بعد ذلك فرض الله تعالى صوم رمضان عينا على كل مسلم دون اختيار، وذلك لما للصوم من حكم عظيمة. نعم.
أثابكم الله شيخنا. So we find that Allah the Most High, He staged the obligation of fasting in this piecemeal manner, whereby He started it as an optional or as a decision between fasting or feeding, and this was due to a great wisdom, and that's due to the difficulty that the souls can find with fasting, and due to this, Allah prepared the souls and He prepared the people to fast, and we can see that if an individual was asked or told, and if the soul was told to withhold and abstain from eating, drinking, and its desires just at once, this is something that would be very difficult and burdensome for the soul to bear. As a result of this, Allah the Most High, He prepared the souls and He prepared the people piecemeal, bit by bit. And once they were aware of the fact that they could either fast or feed, and it became more established, then Allah the Most High, He made fasting Ramadan an obligation upon every single Muslim individually. And this is the reason why Allah staged the legislation of fasting in this manner. نعم شيخنا.
الصيام فرضه كان لحكم عظيمة ولأشياء عظيمة جديلة اختصرها الله تبارك وتعالى وذكر أعظمها في قوله تعالى: يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. فذكر جل وعلا في هذه الآية أن أعظم الحكم وأجل المعاني التي يستفيدها المؤمن من الصيام تحقيق التقوى، وهذا أمر عظيم ومهم. كل مؤمن ومؤمنة يسعى لأن يحقق التقوى التي هي الفلاح والتي بها النجاح وبها دخول الجنة. نعم.
And Allah obligated the fasting of Ramadan for a great many wisdoms, that are also great in themselves. And the greatest of these wisdoms is that which Allah the Most High has said in the Qur'an, that which means, O you who have believed, fasting has been prescribed upon you as it was prescribed upon those who came before you, so that you may fear Allah or have consciousness of Allah. So here Allah has mentioned that from the greatest of wisdoms of fasting is that the individual actualizes this fear or this consciousness of Allah. And this is something that's very significant, because every Muslim and every believer, they endeavor and they chase after actualizing this fear of Allah and this consciousness of Allah that results in their success in the hereafter. نعم شيخنا.
هذه الآية من سورة البقرة افتتحها الله بالنداء للمؤمنين بوصف الإيمان، فقال: يا أيها الذين آمنوا. فالله ينادينا نحن المؤمنين بوصف الإيمان، مما يدل على أن الصيام والقيام به هذا من أوصاف المؤمنين الكمل، فلا يكمل إيمان العبد إلا بأن يحقق هذا الوصف وهذا الفرض الذي هو أحد أركان الإسلام. يا أيها الذين آمنوا، أي صدقوا بما يجب التصديق به مع القبول والامتثال. كتب عليكم الصيام، أي فرض من قبل الله جل وعلا. الصيام كما تقدم وهو الإمساك عن الطعام والشراب والنكاح في زمن مخصوص من طلوع الفجر إلى غروب الشمس تعبدا لله كما كتب أي كما فرض، فإن هذا الفرض أي فرض الصيام مفروض على الأمم السابقة، فالله جل وعلا قد فرض عليهم الصيام، وكذلك فرض علينا نحن كما فرضه على الأمم التي من قبلنا. قال كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم، أي من الأمم السابقين من اليهود وغيرهم، فقد فرض الله عليهم كذلك الصيام. ثم قال لعلكم تتقون، لعل للتعليل أي لأجل أن تتقون، أي تتخذوا وقاية من عذاب الله بفعل أوامره وترك نواهيه. نعم.
So this verse from the second chapter of the Qur'an, the chapter of the cow, Allah opens it up with giving the Muslims the moniker of those who have believed, and Allah is calling them with this attribute of faith, and this indicates that those who stand up and they perform this fasting and they give it its due, that they are believers, and they are true believers who have completed their faith. So it's a sign of those true believers who have completed their faith. And this is something that in actual fact they have to do and they have to complete, as it's one of the 5 pillars of this religion. So, O you who have believed, so they have believed, they have been truthful with sincerity and having faith in Allah. O you who have believed, prescribed for you or prescribed upon you, i.e. it means it's been obligated upon you or made obligatory upon you. Fasting has been prescribed upon you. Fasting, which we have said, it's the withhold or the abstination from food, drink, and intimate relations from the start of Fajr until the setting of the sun. So fasting was prescribed upon you as it was prescribed, and this gives us an indication, as it was prescribed upon those who came before you, that fasting was legislated upon the previous nations, and as it was obligated upon them, it was obligated upon us. And Allah the Most High, He has told us and given us an indication as to why the fasting has been prescribed upon us, where He says, so that you may achieve consciousness or fear of Allah. And this consciousness or fear of Allah, it results in the slave performing those actions that Allah has ordered them to do, and it necessitates that they abstain from those actions that Allah has told them and ordered them to refrain from. نعم شيخنا.
إذن أيها الإخوة في الله، الله تبارك وتعالى ينادينا بوصف الإيمان، ينادي عباده المؤمنين بوصف الإيمان ليخبرهم بما من به عليهم من فريضة الصيام الذي فرض على من كان قبلهم من الأمم السابقين. لماذا؟ لئلا يتخلفوا عنهم في طاعة الله تعالى. فالله يقول لنا هذا الصيام قد شرع على اليهود وعلى النصارى وعلى من قبلنا، فأنتم أيها المسلمون أولى وأحرى به، فلا تتخلفوا عنه، لا تتخلفوا عن طاعة الله بالصيام. وأخبر سبحانه أنه فرضه على من كان قبلنا لنعرف أهمية الصيام في الشرائع. فالصيام أمره عظيم، ولأجل هذا فهو مشروع في الأمم السابقة، ولأهميته شرعه الله علينا أيضا لما فيه من حكم وفوائد عظيمة، ومن أهمها ما يرجع إلى الإيمان. فالصيام له أثر عظيم على إيمانك أيها المؤمن. ومعلوم أن الإيمان يزيد وينقص، يزيد بالطاعة وينقص بالمعصية. فهذا أمر يجده الصائم، إذا صام وجد في نفسه القرب من الله تبارك وتعالى، والرقة في القلب، والإقبال على الطاعة، والبعد عن المعصية. كل هذا لأنه قد زاد إيمانه وارتفع بسبب أنه أدى هذه الفريضة العظيمة التي هي الصيام. نعم.
So therefore Allah the Most High, He calls us, and He calls the Muslims with this moniker of those who have believed, to show and give an indication that He has truly blessed them, and He has blessed them over the previous nations. How is that so? Allah, He has shown us and given us an indication that He legislated fasting upon the previous nations, upon the Yahud, the Jews, and the Christians. So you, O Muslims, you are even more worthy of partaking in this great act of worship. And while making this point, there is an indication that if this is the case, that you are more worthy, then there is an order, an implicit order there, that you should not deviate from it, and you should hasten to do it. You should hasten to fast. It also shows an indication of the importance of fasting in Allah's legislation. And fasting, indeed, its order and its matter is great. And it has been legislated due to that which it contains from the various wisdoms and the benefits that it reaps. And from the greatest of benefits are the benefits that it has upon a person's faith, as it is in essence, it's a spiritual act of worship. And we know, and it's the belief of the people of the Sunnah, the people who adhere to the example of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, that faith, it increases with acts of obedience to Allah, and it decreases with acts of disobedience to Allah. And this is something that the fasting person, they will know firsthand. They will realize when they abstain from food and drink and relations with the intention of worshipping Allah, they will find a lightness in their soul. They will find that they feel closer to Allah the Most High. They will find that they can more easily perform acts of worship and acts that draw them near to Allah the Most High. And as a result of all of this, their faith, their iman, it increases due to what they have done in their performance of this great act of worship. Naam, Shaykhana.
إذن أيها الإخوة في الله، الله تبارك وتعالى يحب هذه العبادة، ولأجل ذلك شرعها على الأمم السابقة وعلينا. فالله يحب من عبده أن يتقرب إليه بترك محبوباته ومشتهياته من طعام وشراب ونكاح. فالمؤمن يظهر صدق إيمانه وكمال عبوديته لله تبارك وتعالى أن يترك هذه الأشياء، وهي أشياء قد جبل على محبتها وأنه محتاج إليها، ولكن لما علم أن الله يحب أن تترك في هذا الزمان وفي هذا الشهر، فالمؤمن يقدم رضا الله على رضا نفسه. كل منا وهو صائم يشتهي الأكل والشرب، وربما يشتهي الأهل والنكاح، ولكن يراقب الله وهذا دليل على صدق إيمانه وأنه يؤمن بوجود الله تبارك وتعالى وباطلاعه عليه، وهذه درجة عظيمة من درجات الإيمان وهي المراقبة لله تبارك وتعالى. إذن فأيها الصائم، أنت بصيامك وامتناعك عن محبوبات نفسك وتقديم رضا الله أنت تحقق الإيمان وتبرهن على صدق إيمانك وعبوديتك لله تبارك وتعالى. نعم.
جزاكم الله خير شيخنا. Therefore, Allah will find, therefore Allah loves this act of worship. And for this reason, He, the Most High, has legislated it. Allah loves that His slave draws closeness to Him through leaving those things that the slaves themselves, they love. Whether it's the eating or the drinking or the fulfillment of their desires. And their leaving off and their abstination of these things indicates the love and the truthfulness that they have for Allah the Most High. For the believer, they put forward while they are fasting the pleasure of their Lord over and above the pleasure of their own selves. Because we find that when we're fasting, all of us, we could all do with something to eat, and we could all do with something to drink, and we might like that. And there are those of us who might need to fulfill their desires. However, the individual, when they are fasting, they give precedence to that which Allah the Most High loves. And they do this because they feel consciousness that Allah the Most High is watching, and that He exists, and that He is aware of that which they do. So for that reason, they abstain from these things to earn the pleasure of their Lord. So, O you who fast, know that with your abstination and your withholding of these things that you love, that you are drawing closeness and you're drawing near to Allah the Most High. And through these actions, through this abstination, you are showing a clear evidence of the truthfulness of your faith. نعم شيخنا.
نكتفي بهذا القدر لأن الوقت انتهى. نسأل الله تبارك وتعالى أن يتقبل منا ومنكم وأن يعيننا على الصيام والقيام وصالح الأعمال.
آمين.
وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
جزاكم الله خير شيخ دكتور عبد الرحمن الرشيدان، وكتب أجركم وزادكم من فضله، وإن شاء الله تعالى نطمح في مزيد من التعاون مع الإخوة مستقبلا بإذن الله. نرتب
إن شاء الله.
إن شاء الله بإذن الله. إن شاء الله إن شاء الله.
شيخنا شيخ ممكن أقول كلمة للشيخ رشيدان؟
تفضل.
شيخنا أحبكم في الله، أحبكم كثيرا. أستمع إلى أشرطة الشيخ عباد حفظه الله، وأتلذذ بقراءتكم، ولا سيما قراءة قصة كعب بن مالك، فأستمع إليه من حين إلى حين. اعلموا شيخنا أنني أحبكم في الله.
أحبك الله الذي أحببتنا من أجله وجعلنا جميعا إخوة متحابين.
الأخ عقيل من الإخوة طلاب العلم الحريصين في بريطانيا، والتقى الشيخ صالح السحيمي وعلي التويجري وعبد السلام السحيمي وترجم لهم جميعا. ما شاء الله نشاط كبير. الله يجزاه.
الله ينفع به، نسأل الله أن ينفع به وأن يوفقنا وإياه لكل خير.
آمين.
جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. حياكم الله جميعا. يا هلا، حياكم السلام.
حفظكم الله.
حياكم، سلمكم الله، أهلا وسهلا.
So we will stop with tonight's lecture there, and I would just like to give a really brief introduction as to who the teacher was tonight, and the teacher was he was the Sheikh Abdul Rahman al-Rushaydan, and he's very well known. There's a series of lessons that are very well known that take place in Medina in the masjid by one of the senior scholars in the Islamic world, Sheikh Abdul Muhsin Al-Abbad. And the Sheikh, he's explained all of the books of all the 6 books of hadith. So Bukhari, Muslim, At-Tirmidhi, Abu Dawood, Ibn Majah, and Nasa'i, all of them he's explained. And he's also explained the Muwatta of Imam Malik. And he's in the process of explaining Al-Muharrar, which is another book of hadith. So he's explained all of these books. While the Sheikh explains it, there is another Sheikh who reads the text of the hadith. And he will read the text of the hadith, and Sheikh Abbad explains it. The Sheikh who we had on today, Sheikh Rushaydan, he was the reader of Sheikh Abdul Muhsin Al-Abbad. And his recitation of the narrations is beautiful. So it was a great honor that we had him here with us today. And our Sheikh Muhammad Al-Maliki, may Allah preserve him, he said to him that he wishes and he hopes that he can book him again so that we can benefit from him.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair for the explanation as well. Inshallah, may Allah make our paths meet again and we can benefit the deaf community as well as the hearing. Inshallah.
Ameen.
Jazakallah khairan. Sheikh Badr Al-Bukhur from Kuwait, our brother Tom and Akil, Jazakallah khairan, and inshallah we'll see you again tomorrow, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan.